And even was like, "Are you listening?" And I'm like, I just looked because was I listening? Half, half ass. I was in and out because it don't have nothing to do with me. Um, but then she asked me my opinion. Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the Kyrie Rashid Show, and I'm so glad you providing energy to come back for more. So, what's up? Truth is, I'm tired, boss. And truth is, I never got over you. Truth is, wish I was standing in her shoes. Who know that? Yeah, who know that? Truth is, and when it's all said and done, boy, I'm still in love with you. Truth is, I didn't know what I was gonna be on here yapping about. Truth is, I got this hood on because my hair is a HOT mess. For real. Truth is, this is probably gonna be a quick episode because what? Like, what am I saying? Um, what's up? I went and hooped at the park. It gave me nostalgic old school vibes earlier this week. I took an Orange Theory fitness class. I took two actually in the past 2 weeks, but I'm not doing that again. They're a bit aggressive. It's like calling your phone. You better call on Tyrone. Call. Not me. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Don't text me no more. All that stuff, right? It was a cool little class, but it just gave like I'm really trying to sell. And it cost a bill. I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. I don't got that. That's another big spender. Okay, frugal queen. We're not. Mm-mm. What else? What else? Basketball tryouts. I uploaded my website and that cut reminds me we be vibing. Bitch, I got a website big timing. Uh, um, what else? Oh, I went to therapy. CBJ face. I went to therapy for the first time since college. Shout out to Big Dog for that. You know, I just been slowly but surely putting in the work, little by little, bit by bit, into the bag, into the shit. You feel me? What do I want to talk about? You know what? Let's talk about unnecessary talking today. Let's talk about that. Like, because I just don't like to talk when it doesn't get. We don't need to talk if we don't need to talk. You feel me? Everybody, shut the fuck up. Okay, everybody, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so what happened is I went to therapy last night, y'all, and it was like intake, so it's real like easy vibes. We didn't really get into the nitty gritty, or the nitty gritty, as Nelly T would say. But she was asking me stuff, and I said something like I get aggravated, which we've talked about before when my stuff is not going to routine. And she was like, "How can you tell? Like, if I was around you, how would I know that you was aggravated?" And I was like, "I just stopped talking for real, but I really don't like talking when it's unnecessary to talk, anyways." But I mean, I guess my friends tell me I'm less conversational. And then another thing happened is like I usually zone out in things that have little to no care for my brain, and I don't chat. And I was just talking to another friend the other day, and he was like, "Kai," I was like, "What? You want to hear about my date?" I said, "No, I don't." There was a pause, and he said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you about it anyway." And I said, "Okay." Because one, I was honest. I don't want to hear about your date. And two, it's not that I don't want to hear about your date because I'm here for a little kiki, a little girl chat. Like, okay, you want a date? Where'd y'all go? What kind of drinks did y'all? I'm here for that, right? But here's where I draw the line. The contradictoriness, I don't know what the correct form conjugation of that word is, or the hypocrisy of it all is where I draw the line, right? So sometimes it's like I'm engaging with a friend. He don't know what he want to do. He don't know if he want to be a lover boy one day or a city boy the next. He don't know if he like this girl one day or want to like the next girl. He don't know if he out in the town thugging with his rounds or locked up, one and done. You know what I'm saying? And he go back and forth all the time. New day, new beat. You feel me? New girl, new chick. All of the above. Like every day, I'm like, what demon? It was Keisha, Brenda, Tamika. Like, that's how I feel with him. So when he told me about this date, I'm like, mm-mm. Matter of fact, the day before that, he was like, so Kai, how do you spin the block on somebody? And I said, I don't. That's not my jam. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, but if you were to, and I said, well, I just can't help you there because I don't feel that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like he's asking me these questions, but I understand we're engaging in convo, but he's asking me these questions, and then he's just gonna do what he wants to do anyway. Ask Nina down. Ask Nina Marie Radford down. If that girl asks me a question like, oh, what should I do? Should I wear this or this? Should I get this or this? Should I eat this or that? And I provided a suggestion. She go, oh, I'm going to do the opposite. That pisses me off because don't ask me because you already know the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ask me. So I don't like that. So then it's like a waste of my words, a waste of my breath to even have this conversation. So you're asking me about spinning the block and you're going to spin the block anyway. So what the fuck is the point? 2 seconds later, he spins the block and that's how he gets on the date. So then I go, and see, that's why I don't answer none of your goddamn questions because you always do this shit. There's no point to even have a conversation with you. He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, no, you do it every time. So then that's why I don't want to hear about Broel's date. I don't want to hear about it because I'm not interested. I'm not intrigued. And then when I was talking to the therapist, I was like, yeah, I don't give unsolicited advice. I don't insert myself when not needed. And if there's a lot of pointless conversation and communication happening, I just am quiet. I'm just silent, right? And I happen to find myself in these circles where are we talking about anything of substance? Are we? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I usually just head out. I pull one of these and disappear. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just really uninterested. And then another friend is like, well, oh, is it the same friend? It's the same friend. He like, well, when you go on dates, do you like engage or like start up conversations with the guy? And I said, I don't know. I don't go on dates. Because I don't. That wasn't a lie. But then I was like, you're asking me that because there is an ulterior motive for this question. And that, my friends, is another pet peeve of mine. Don't ask me, especially with men. I think it was with the men, right? And then I'd be wrong if I say, well, one, you and I are on a date, and two, we're not having conversations that I want to be interested in. Then I would be wrong. And then I would be too aggressive. Like, oh, no, I'm not. I didn't say we was on a date. Well, I'm like, you're asking me that question simply because I'm not engaging in conversation with you, right? That's why you're asking me that question. It's not simply just because you want to know how I act on dates. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm not engaging in conversation with you. And then I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm pretty easy to read. I'm pretty easy to get to know. That could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But for instance, generally speaking, with a bunch of people, right? Generally speaking, like if you're around somebody and you're hanging out and you're getting to know them, you are going to find out just in conversations and being around them, their interests, their dislikes, maybe even their favorite color. Like, we don't even have to ask those types of questions. You feel me? I'm not big on small talk. I'm not a small talker. So I just won't talk. So I'm probably not going to ask you what your favorite color is. I can probably figure it out after, you know what I'm saying, being around you, observing. And if you're not doing it, it's because you're not paying attention and you're just like not engaged in the conversations either. So what the fuck is the point of talking? I've been around you, and this is why I'm not like hesitate to say friend for real. I would say like we cool. You know what I'm saying? We cool. Acquaintance sounds like really distant. Friend sounds really close. So I'm gonna just say we cool, right? Me and him, we cool. He be around all the time. He always around. You know what I'm saying? But since you are always around, you think by this point you know what the fuck. You know something about me. Whoa, guy, what are you interested in? You think by being around me, you know something that I was interested in. You know I get up at the gym, go to the gym every day or 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Ding, ding, ding. That's something I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard. And maybe I'm being harsh, but for me, it ain't that hard to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Some people can be hard, but I feel like it's on the people. Like we can be as people very self-centered and very, or from my observations, very self-centered and not observant. We're just very consumed about what we got going on, which to a certain extent you should be worried about yourself, not nobody else. But in the midst of community or community building, trying to make friends, trying to branch out that type of vibe, I don't think we do it that well. We got another group of people I say I'm cool with. They cool. You know what I'm saying? Friend too close, acquaintance a little bit too far. So we cool. You feel me? Like we cool. But when they come over, they just talk about shit that I'm not invested in or one even like a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to be like your friends maybe went out and they celebrated a birthday party and you wasn't there or something, and now you're getting the tea about the birthday party because you know you would be acquainted with that group. Versus me, it's like we'll take that same scenario. Say the people I'm cool with was talking about a birthday party. I have nothing to do with nobody at that birthday party. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know none of them. So then when they be talking about the stuff, I just be sitting there because I don't know Nathaniel. I don't know nothing about nobody there, about none of the drama, and I do happen to zone out. And I think I even got caught. Like I was about to try to head out, and she was like, Where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm caught." And even was like, "Are you listening?" And I'm like, I just looked because was I listening? Half ass. I was in and out because it don't have nothing to do with me. But then she asked me my opinion on it. She asked me my opinion on the little, and it wasn't a birthday celebration. I don't know what it was. My actual friend and one of her friends, somebody I really don't know, got something going on. I don't really know. I'm not paying attention. But then she's like, "Well, Kai, did you give advice? What's your opinion?" And I'm like, I don't give unsolicited advice. I really try not to. She didn't ask me for advice, so I've never said any advice. She's like, "Well, what do you have an opinion on it?" And I would say, not necessarily because it don't got nothing to do with me. But like, if you ask for an opinion, I guess I would have one. And she's like, "Well, I'm asking you now. Like, I want to know your opinion." And I said, "Okay, well, very diplomatic of me, if you will." I give very diplomatic opinions, even though the people who know me best would say that I'm very opinionated. But if you don't know me that well, you would think I had no take for anything or I didn't have any opinions about lots of things because I just keep it cute, keep it P. You know what I'm saying? And I answered and it was very diplomatic. And she's like, "I don't even know if that really answered my question." And I'm like, it was very generalized because once again, the stories and the things that were going on were very generalized to my existence. It had nothing to do with me. So it is generalized. So that's how I answer the question. Um, But I think the perspective would be different if my friend was coming to me and literally asking me about her movements in it or whatever, then I would have a different answer. You feel me? I would have a different answer. I also don't like answering questions or things when I feel like you're not listening. So if you ask me a question and I open my mouth to respond and your ass is already on to the next one, I'm not going to answer anymore, or I'm not going to have an opinion anymore. And I think that's a lot of what happens as well, where they're like, oh, you don't never say nothing. You're just sitting there. What are you doing over there? Da, da, da. I'm like, I don't have anything to say. Like, I don't have anything to say. Y'all ever see the TikToks where they be like, oh, you're so quiet. Why you not talking to nobody? Because I don't know y'all. I don't know y'all for real. And sure, I can know you on the surface, but also I don't have shit to say. Those are the two things. Like, if I don't have nothing to say, I'm not going to say nothing. And the ones who know me know that. I don't have shit to say. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not part of the culture that is going to just start a conversation just to start a conversation. I'm okay with us just being quiet. Like, that's all right with me. You know what I'm saying? And I think people get uncomfortable with that and then want to try to start these conversations. And it's like unnecessary. It's just unnecessary to me. Yeah. I'd say I spend most of my time being quiet. Being quiet. I also don't like, because if I'm comfortable with you, I will bombard you with conversation. I will talk your head off. But on a day to day, I'm probably shutting the fuck up. If you ask Nina about if I'm shutting the fuck up, she'll probably say no. You know what I'm saying? If you ask Melissa, I think it depends on the day if I'm going to shut the fuck up or not. You know what I'm saying? If you ask my siblings, I would say in between. I think one of them, Veronica, she was like, you don't, I don't know if she used the word stoic, but that's the word I'm going to use. Like, I'm very stoic and my emotions are very like, I'm just there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just even killed. I said, oh, really? Because at the core, right? And it's the same thing I talk about in therapy, y'all. Same thing. At the core of me, I'm very talkative. I'm very emotional. I'm very opinionated. But I feel like a lot of people don't deserve all that energy from me. So I reserve the right to not speak. I reserve the right to not speak. And I think I've trained myself to do that a lot. And, you know, even my experience going overseas and being in a different culture and learning how you don't say it too much to that person, because if you say something to this person, it's going to land over here to that person. And all of a sudden your words are skewed. In college, all of a sudden you say this to somebody. Now I went back to the coach and the coach saying you said this and that ain't really what you said type energy. So I guess it's also like a thing of being misunderstood as well. Um, then I also say like people, I guess I have direct communication as well. So when we're in a conversation, or if you ask people, I'm going to go ahead and just text them without an intro. And I know probably in the Black community, probably in lots of communities, like not going, hey, hi, how you doing today? Da 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 is important. But my ass, I'm like, what's the point of saying, hey, da da da, and doing, it's like it gives small talk, not genuineness in my thing. And I think that's where it's all fallen. Like, it's genuine versus non-genuine. And it's like, if I am going to ask Melissa a question or Nina a question, I'm going to just ask the goddamn question. I'm not going to say, hey, love you, girl, because they know they know I love them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to just ask the fucking question. And then I go, damn, I just asked the question. I didn't even give no intro or nothing. I just went for the question. And I go, my bad. Hey, girl, how you doing? Like that. But that's just the way I am. It's not because I don't care. But then it translated to like how I'm communicating in this like business area or with like my customers and stuff. So usually, like I said, I would just go, hey, these are the time slots I got. Or I wouldn't say, hey, I would just say, here's the time slots I got for you this week. Let me know. That's it. Now I'm learning. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna send an email, or if I'm gonna send text messages with time slots. If I'm communicating with a coach, I have to say, hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hope all is well. One of those things, and then go, so I have these time slots today, or practice is at this time today. Like there's a certain, what is the word? Is it like a etiquette? Is that the word? A certain etiquette that I don't move with when I'm just being me. I just say it, or I just do it. And then when I think about having conversations that are a little bit deeper level about race, about demographic, about anything that's deep, right? About childhood, about family lineage, anything, right? I'm a straight shooter about it. So I'm in spaces a lot. Obviously, I'm always surrounded in white spaces in the places that I live. We're gonna have to change that one day, y'all. We're gonna have to change that. My therapist person, she go, are you acclimating okay? I said, man, or she asked me about culture, about like what's my culture. I said, I don't know, but I just know I love everything black. I love black people. I love black stuff. I love black culture. Like I love being surrounded by black people, and it drains me every day that I'm not around enough black people. You know? So they ate that down, but it's like I feel that. I got off track. Mm, mm. Oh, I'm back on track. Yeah, so when we're having a conversation or I feel like I need to address something, I'm gonna just address it. I'm not gonna have an intro. For instance, a not a big conflict or whatever, but being in white space is a lot. There's a lot of microaggressions. Shout out to Bria, she knows that word now. And we're learning, and it's sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it isn't, right? But I find myself in these spaces where I am feeling the need to address it. Or sometimes like I'm like, I don't know if it's my realm to address something. So like a comment was made where it was like, yeah, you know that Hispanic gene. And it's like, I said, I thought about it. But there's been more than one comment, right? There's been more than one microaggression comment. But I think of all these dynamics and I'm like, ooh, is the time right now to address it? How am I going to look coming across when I address certain issues versus if somebody else addressed it? Because I feel like the way the way I'm perceived is aggressive, is blunt, is direct, which is not something that everybody's into, really. So I'm always thinking about that before I'm inside like a deep conversation or something of that nature. So I had a conversation about this and I was like, yeah, I always think about that. And then when you have like family dynamics as well, I feel like I'm always tiptoeing over that line. And, I don't want to offend. I never want to make anybody feel like they're being attacked either. But a lot of times the way I communicate, people can feel attacked. So after I had this conversation, then I tried it out. I tested it out. Let's have a hand clap for that. I tested it out. And I didn't do too much. It was fine. It was fine. But I think I premeditate like conflict and how it's gonna go, and most of the time it's negative, and then I'm like, mm, mm, I gotta prepare for the worst, y'all. But then it turns out better than you think. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah. So then I was like, I just addressed it. I was just like, I don't know if we should use that word, or I don't know if we should say it like that. And then it was like, oh yeah, like my bad. I should never said it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I meant. That's not what I intended to say. And a lot of times in communication or in conflicts like that, it's like our intention is not to harm, just the impact is harmful, right? So I think, yeah, all things, I'm probably just bouncing around, but all things surrounding communication, it's like a lot of times our intention is more pure than maybe the impact or how we come across to somebody. And sometimes it's more hurtful than we intended it to be, or we never even intended to be hurtful at all. And it just comes across that way. So now what? So now I'm in therapy. I'm looking forward to it, and we're learning. I'm gonna just learn how to be. I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator, but just like, I don't know. I just don't like to talk that much, especially when I feel like there's no reason to talk. Um, I've always hated small talk since I was a young bull, but I was really, really shy as a young child. I wouldn't say I'm shy now, I'm just very reserved to myself. And if I had to choose to talk versus not talk, I think I would choose not to talk, which is weird because I hop on here and I say I want to be a public speaker. Gray area. Which is all right. It's all right. Two things can be true at once. So now what? I'm just thinking about all the realms of conversation. I actually am thinking about like if I should try to push myself in those conversations more or not, or it just is what it is. Because a lot of times I just know better. I just know, like, this is real, this is me. Like, I know this is something I'm into, and I know this is something I'm not into. But then I'm like, are there times where I could, be a little bit more open into this conversation, even though it's not my jam? You feel me? Is there times? So that's what I be thinking about. And then I'm just like, so now what? Like, how is this going to translate to therapy? Because, I just had to lay down the law, like just lay down the first foundation of everything that's going on. And I'm just like, there's just always so much to unpack when it comes to conversations. And the reason why I don't talk versus do talk, all that shit. Like, it always goes back to the childhood. Like, what is the reason for me not talking versus me talking? So we here. So I have a question. You like to talk or you don't like to talk? Does it depend on the season, the time of day? Because that's another thing I learned. When I wake up in the morning, I like to start my mornings a certain way, and I don't want to be yapping. For instance, my friend, like, she likes to talk to me early in the morning, but I have a flow. Sometimes she knows, but it's just her jam. She loves community. She loves conversation, just being around people. Versus me, I would prefer to be by myself a lot more. I can be around a person, you know what I'm saying, for a long period of time, but a lot of times I would prefer to be by myself. And then she's more community based, loves the people, gets her energy from them, and I get my recharge from being alone. So yeah, are you direct or do you beat around the bush? Do you love small talk? Do you hate small talk? Can you vibe with small talk? Do you zone out when you're uninterested, or do you lock in and play the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be uninterested and be like, this is the example, uninterested in conversation, but then be like, oh wow, really? So duh. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I just look and I just go, oh yeah, and I don't really respond. So what do you do? And yeah, that's what I got today. We just talked about conversations and talking. So what is this episode called? Like, rated conversations with Kai, or shut the fuck up? I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But once again, this has been another episode of the Kyrie Rashid Show. Blessed, highly favored. Thank Big Dog that y'all decided to come back for more. Get at me. Good